In September 1942, Enemy.At.The.Gates takes us to the heart of the intense Battle of Stalingrad, where Vasily Zaitsev, Jude Law, a humble shepherd turned soldier in the Red Army, is thrown into one of the bloodiest battles of World War II. Stalingrad, a once thriving city now reduced to rubble, becomes the last major line of defense between the advancing German forces and Moscow. With the Germans fighting relentlessly to control the city and the rich oil fields of Central Asia, the stakes are incredibly high. Soviet leader Khrushchev orders the city be held at all costs. As both sides dig in and refuse to retreat, Zaitsev becomes a key figure in the defense of Stalingrad, his skills as a sharpshooter making him a symbol of hope for the Red Army. The film not only highlights the brutality of war, but also the personal struggles of soldiers caught in a conflict that will decide the fate of nations. It's a tense, emotional, and action-packed film that shows the true cost of war. The brutal realities of war are depicted with haunting intensity. Soviet troops are brought to the other side of the Volga River in crowded freight trains, only to be crammed into small, flimsy boats with no protection as they attempt to cross the river. The Volga is under constant attack from German artillery and fighter planes, making the crossing a deadly mission. As the boats make their way across, many are destroyed, and soldiers who try to escape by jumping into the water are shot down by propaganda officers who are stationed on the boats to ensure no one flees. The docks of Stalingrad become a grim scene, littered with the bodies of soldiers who were either killed or severely injured in the brutal fighting. This sequence highlights the sheer desperation of the Soviet defense and the overwhelming odds that these soldiers had to face in a battle that would change the course of history. One of the most harrowing scenes depicts the Soviet soldiers being sent on a near-suicidal charge during the Battle of Stalingrad. These soldiers are forced to charge into enemy fire without proper weapons, with some given only a rifle while others are handed just a pallet of ammunition containing only 5 bullets. The soldiers are told to scrounge for weapons from fallen comrades, making them even more vulnerable. As they rush forward, they come under devastating fire from German machine guns and tanks, and any soldier who tries to retreat is shot by their own officers, ensuring they stay in the fight. Over the loudspeakers, the Germans taunt the Soviet soldiers, urging them to surrender, claiming they would be treated better by the enemy than by their own leaders. This cruel moment shows the dire conditions and the brutal choices these soldiers had to face, illustrating the terrifying desperation of war. Vasily Zaitsev, a skilled marksman, finds himself in a life-or-death situation as he hides among a pile of corpses to evade German fire. Amid the chaos, a tank shell incapacitates a car nearby, and the car's occupant, Commissar Danilov, Joseph Fiennes, takes cover in the same heap of bodies. After finding a rifle, Danilov prepares to fire, but Vasily advises him to wait for an explosion to mask the sound of the shot. When the moment comes, Vasily reveals his incredible marksmanship skills, killing 5 German soldiers in less than a minute, leaving Danilov in awe. This skill, honed by his grandfather since childhood, proves vital in saving both their lives. The two men then make their way back to the Soviet base outside Stalingrad, forming an unlikely bond in the heart of one of history's most brutal battles. The brutal Battle of Stalingrad intensifies. Nikita Khrushchev, Bob Hoskins, arrives in the city to oversee the defense efforts. To boost morale, Khrushchev demands bold ideas. While most of the other commissars propose harsher methods of control and terror, Senior Lieutenant Danilov, Joseph Fiennes, offers a different solution. He believes the people need heroes to rally around and suggests using the exploits of Vasily Zaitsev, Jude Law, a skilled sniper, as a symbol of hope and courage. Danilov publishes stories in the Army's newspaper, elevating Vasily to national hero status and using him as a propaganda icon. Vasily is then transferred to the sniper division, where he and Danilov form a close friendship. Both men, however, find themselves drawn to Tanya, Rachel Wise, a brave Stalingrad citizen who has joined the local militia. The Soviet snipers are wreaking havoc on the German forces, forcing the Germans to send their top marksman, Major Erwin Koenig, Ed Harris, to Stalingrad with a mission to eliminate Vasily Zaitsev, Jude Law. Koenig, the head of the German Army's sniper school, begins by luring Vasily into a trap, taking down 2 of his fellow snipers, but Vasily narrowly escapes. To counter Koenig's deadly precision, the Soviet command sends Vasily's former student, Kulikov, Ron Perlman, to assist in eliminating the German sniper. However, Koenig outsmarts Kulikov, killing him with a precise shot, shaking Vasily's confidence. Meanwhile, Khrushchev pressures Danilov, Joseph Fiennes, to bring the sniper duel to an end. Tanya, Rachel Wise, who is increasingly involved with Vasily, requests to join the sniper division, but Danilov asks Vasily to discourage her. Vasily hesitates but ultimately relents when Tanya reveals her heartbreaking past. Her Hebrew parents were murdered by the Germans. Meanwhile, Danilov recruits a young local boy, Sasha, Gabriel Thompson, who secretly works for the Germans, to act as a double agent. He passes false information to Koenig about Vasily's location, setting the stage for a deadly showdown between the two legendary snipers. In Enemy.At.The.Gates, Vasily, Jude Law, sets a cunning trap for Major Koenig, Ed Harris, and manages to wound him. But during a second attempt, Vasily, exhausted from hours of lying in wait, falls asleep. A German soldier takes Vasily's sniper log, and the German command mistakenly believes Vasily is dead. They plan to send Koenig home, but the Major refuses to accept that Vasily is gone, determined to finish the fight. Koenig reveals his next move to young Sasha, Gabriel Thompson, suspecting the boy will pass the information to Vasily. Amid the chaos, Vasily and Tanya, Rachel Wise, fall deeply in love, but their secret romance doesn't go unnoticed. That night, Tanya sneaks into the Soviet barracks, where she shares an intimate moment with Vasily. Jealous of their relationship, Danilov, Joseph Fiennes, writes a letter to his superiors, slandering Vasily in an attempt to undermine him. The battle of snipers intensifies, but personal rivalries and emotions threaten to complicate the war efforts. The battle of wits between Vasily, Jude Law, and Major Koenig, Ed Harris, reaches a brutal climax. Koenig, suspecting Sasha, Gabriel Thompson, has betrayed him, spots Vasily and Tanya, Rachel Wise, waiting at the ambush site. To confirm his suspicions, he kills Sasha and hangs his body from a pole, hoping to provoke Vasily. Devastated by the boy's death, Vasily vows revenge and sends Tanya and Danilov, Joseph Fiennes, to evacuate Sasha's mother from the city. However, during their journey, Tanya is wounded by shrapnel. Danilov, thinking she's dead, reflects on his jealousy of Vasily and his growing disillusionment with the Soviet cause. Meanwhile, Vasily prepares for the final confrontation with Koenig. In a self-sacrificial act, Danilov exposes himself to reveal Koenig's position, knowing it will cost him his life. Koenig, believing he's killed Vasily, approaches the body, only to discover too late that he's walked into a trap. Vasily, now with the advantage, takes the shot and kills Koenig. 2 months later, after the liberation of Stalingrad and the surrender of German forces, Vasily finds Tanya, alive and recovering in a field hospital, their love story surviving the horrors of war.